Hi everyone, it is Alex from Mormon Metrics. I wanted to share a fun video of a project that I've been working on. So this is a LDS membership and congregation change growth dashboard by county from 2010 to 2020. And so this is a little sneak peek of the dashboard itself. But yeah, like I mentioned, I'm Alex. I run a weekly blog where I do analysis using some of the latest data in Mormonism every week, and then I make a Instagram reel and YouTube short based off of some of my findings. So let's talk about the dashboard itself. So this is cool because you can't really get this type of data anywhere else, and especially an interactive view and charts of the data. So if you go to the stats page on lds.org, you can see that you can click into different countries, and if you click into the US, you can see some static summary statistics in the US, but you don't necessarily get a view of how things have changed over time, and you only get the data at the state level. So it's kind of hard to visualize. And so the dashboard I have is at the county level. And why that's important is you can kind of, when you're looking at the state level, you don't really get a sense of how, for example, urban and rural areas are changing or some different dynamics like that. This data isn't from the church website because they don't have that on the church website. It is actually from the U.S. religion census. And so you can read more about that here. But essentially, the U.S. religion census every 10 years, they ask each of 300 or 400 different religions what their county level membership data is and their congregations by county. And so the church has cooperated with the U.S. religion census, and so I am using that data in my dashboard. So now let's look at the dashboard itself. So yeah, just looking at it, at the top, you can see some overall stats, and all of these change depending on your view. So right now we're looking at the US overall, and so these show the stats for the US overall. So there's 6 million members in 2010, and now there's 6.5 million. And yeah, like I said, this is from 2010 to 2020, so how things changed during those years. And in 2030, when the US religion census releases their next data set, I plan to add that to this dashboard. But yeah, so you get the overall membership change, you get the congregation change. And yeah, here's our map. If you hover over different counties, there's a bunch of tooltip info that pops up. And I kind of erred on the side of including more info, so you can really dive into different analysis. But yeah, you get the county name and some overall population info. Yeah, what percent of this county is LDS? How has that changed? All that type of information. And then below, I also have depending on your view, the share of your view that is the share of the total population that is LDS. So in 2010, around 2% of the population was LDS, but in 2020 it's about 1.97%. And then below here, I also have a bunch of info, also based on your view. And so our top growing counties are in Utah. You have Utah County, Davis County, Maricopa County in Arizona. You have the counties that lost the most in this time period, and then you have how the urban, suburban, rural counties are changing, and then what the distribution of counties looks like for change in membership. So now let's change our view and see how our numbers change. So right now we're at US overall. We go to this drop down, and let's click on, let's say, Colorado. And so we can see that our map has changed to zoom in on Colorado, and also we can see all of our stats above have also changed for Colorado. Yeah, we can see in Colorado, the members from 2010 to 2020, there's an increase in 5% in membership change, in church membership change, and they added 24 congregations. And then you can also compare it to how the state has changed. So the LDS population grew 5%, but the Colorado population actually grew 14%. And so you can see down here, the share of LDS has gone down slightly from 2.8 to about 2.6 of Colorado residents that are LDS, or at least on church records. And then you can also, all of these charts update as well. And so you can see the top growing counties and the lower growing counties. And then also a view of how the urban versus suburban versus rural counties have changed. So in this case, the suburban and urban counties have grown and the rural counties have shrunk a bit. So that's what Colorado looks like. And then also on the side here, we can change the variable that we're looking at. So right now we're looking at the number of members that have increased or decreased, but you can also look at the percent change. You can look at what membership overall looked like in 2010 and 2020. You can look at the number change in congregations, the percent change in congregations from 2010 and 2020, and then also how the percent of the share of the population that are LDS changed. So is the LDS population outperforming the natural population growth in a certain county or in a certain region or state or overall? And so yeah, you can get all of those views there. So yeah, that pretty much sums up a lot of it. Like I said, all of the data is publicly available, so you can download it if you are interested. And I have links here. And then also all of my code that I used to create this dashboard is also publicly viewable. And so you can view my source code on GitHub here. But yeah, if you find any bugs or issues with the dashboard, please let me know. Also, please send me your interesting views or insights that you get from here. There's a lot of data here and it's hard to really analyze it all. So I'd be interested in your insights as well. So yeah, I think that concludes this video.